South Dakota but stay here year-round?
I don't know, I haven't heard that. There was some publicity about this registering motorhomes in Montana and not paying a sales tax. I haven't heard anything about and it happens with Wisconsin plates also, because Wisconsin has a flat $35 or $40 registration. I don't know what they're, the motorhome thing has been big because there have been some $500,000 motorhomes sold in Montana up to Minnesota residents at 7%. That's a $35,000 sales tax. It's a lot of money. The license plates pale in comparison to that. All right. One other issue that I'd like to tell you about, it only applies, I shouldn't say that, principally applies to those of you who have either food service operations or bait shops, live bait shops. And you may have heard about this from your workers' comp insurance agent, but for about 10 years, there have been a type of shoes or footwear sold called slip-resistant footwear. They're sold by companies like Shoes for Crews. They now have them at Zappos online. Famous Footwear has them. Target and Walmart are selling slip-resistant footwear. They are kind of sticky on the bottom. They help prevent slips and falls. The question that we have gotten is, can an employer require their employees who work in slip-prone areas of the business, like kitchens, dining rooms, and bait shops, to have that kind of equipment? And is it safety equipment or is it a uniform? If it's safety equipment, you can require people to provide it for themselves and you don't have to pay for it. If it's a uniform, like uniform shirts or aprons or things, then you have to pay for it. I now have a letter ruling from the Department of Labor saying if we meet these conditions, it is a safety equipment and you don't have to pay for it. Perkins recently directed all of their employees to get slip-resistant footwear. A number of restaurants at the Mall of America have done it. Others are talking about it. Denny's is encouraging it but not requiring it. A number of our restaurant members are encouraging it. The workers' comp insurers reported fairly significant reduction in slip and fall accidents. It is safety equipment if you don't specify a brand, color, or style. Employees can buy and wear any non-slip shoe that they like. The shoes need to be suitable for wear outside of work, and most of them are. They look like bowling shoes to me. They come in various colors.
They look better than that.
Maybe curling shoes?
No, they're nice. Yeah, they have a complete catalog, and
yes,
they're very nice footwear. So
maybe the original ones looked like bowling shoes.
Yeah.
But you can wear them for other things. And do you require them or encourage them?
Encourage them.
And what's your?
People do them, and the prices are pretty reasonable, actually.
Yes. At Famous Footwear and Target and Walmart, they're $25 to $45 depending on which one. That's what I've been hearing.
Yep.
Yeah. And what do your employees think of it? What do you get any feedback?
Yeah, no. Even the back of the house staff is quick to get them. But a lot of the front of the house staff are buying them also because they look decent, front.
What about housekeeping?
No. The only thing we do in the housekeeping department is we supply. In the wintertime, we supply. Treads for their boots.
Okay, for icy.
Yeah.
The issue on housekeeping doesn't apply much if you have carpet. If you have hardwood floors or tile in large areas where your housekeepers work, it could become slippery and you might want to consider or encourage it. But you can also offer a shoe program that includes payroll deduction. Shoes for Crews will let you, you pay for the shoes and you deduct them over 4 or 6 paychecks. You can only do that if it's an option. If the employees have the option of going and buying them for cash.
You can only do it if it keeps their wage above minimum wage.
Yes, and their wage after the deduction has to be above minimum wage. And so my advice is if you want to do it, first of all, encouraging it is less draconian than requiring it. Once you get a few early adopters, people tend to like them. And it's just in our best interest not to have people falling down. Do any of you have bait shops? No, or sell live bait?
Yeah.
And the floors are usually wet where the live bait is sold?
Yeah.
And dock boys the same thing, or dock people, because some of them are women.
It's self-serve though.
All right, that's the shoe issue. I am going to go back to 2 I talked about last year because we've had more calls about them. I get calls, particularly from campgrounds and resorts, if they can if they can charge a fee for using a credit card, perhaps for a seasonal payment or a large deposit, or if they can get a discount for cash. Up until 2012, the card agreement for Visa and MasterCard prohibited you from charging to use their card. That's gone. That was taken out in the Visa MasterCard court settlement. The Durbin Act that passed in Congress in 2013 allows you to give a discount for cash if you wish to. And so now you can run your business as you choose to. If you would rather provide a small discount to encourage people to pay by check, you know, if you get $2,500 for a seasonal or $2,000 or whatever it is, and you're paying 2.5% credit card company, plus there isn't a lot of risk in taking a check because you're gonna have their camper on your site, you know, if they write you that check. And I don't know if any of you have thought about either. Now, I don't think this makes sense to do in your store or your restaurant because the customer relations impact, customers don't like it. But for large payments, you may want to consider it, and the law now allows it. Jim? Okay, you look like you had a question, so. I've had 2 calls about how, and it'd be interesting to see what your best practices are, of people who rent boats, jet skis, other things, and as a form of security, they ask, can we keep people's driver's licenses? And the answer is, I couldn't find anything in the law, and I talked to the Department of Public Safety. There isn't anything making it illegal. It is unpopular. Guests don't want to give you their driver's license. If you're doing it at a place where you can make a copy of their driver's license, that may be more acceptable. However, you can keep a credit card to secure payment if you don't charge it up entirely before they go out. Now, do any of you have a concern about having some form of security for rentals like boats and snowmobiles or ATVs? How do you handle it, Jim?
You know, basically, we only rent to guests, so
Okay.
we have everything at the front desk, and so we're covered there.
So non-guests can't
Now,
rent
what,
it?
keeping a credit card, is that with PCI compliance, or that, I just don't know if that would fly anymore.
You run some liability risk. I can ask Heartland at the expo, I think they would be
You
here.
hardly want to even touch the credit card anymore. You get to the point where they're gonna be swiping their own, and
Where-
you're not even, that's the point where the front desk won't even touch a credit card, it'll be just the guest.
Inserting it or
Inserting
dipping
it.
it, yeah. And you may be right. The good news is the law has opened up and gives you the option to give a discount for cash or charge if you choose to do so. All right, that's the stuff that has come from our phone log or from things that happened at the legislature. What other questions do you have? What other pressing legal issues in your businesses that I can, yes, ma'am?
You touched on this and it spurred a question, because I've read the uniform statutes in that handy book you
Yeah.
gave out, but I'm still kind of unclear about it. Can we charge for a t-shirt that we require them to wear?
Is it suitable for wear away from work?
Well, I mean, sure.
It
I mean,
wouldn't be
you see
embarrassing or
kids,
anything.
well,
It
you see
doesn't say,
kids
"I sing
wearing
at Fair Hills," or-
their staff shirts, it says staff on the back, and it just says Fair Hills on the front and staff on the back, and I see kids wearing their shirts from lots of other different jobs out and about, so.
It's, the law says that you need to pay for apparel that's not suitable for use outside of work. And I think it is a gray area. I don't know what your shirts cost or what your competitors do, but you run the risk of a complaint to the Department of Labor. Those involve investigations and examining rules, and I'm not sure it's worth it. It is probably a gray area.
What about, is there something where you have to provide one, but they can purchase
I think
extra,
you're
is
probably
that?
We went
less
through
gray?
this with a truck stop in Hinckley, and they decided and to their credit, Department of Labor was more consultative. That they now provide 2 shirts and charge if you want 3, 4, or 5 shirts. I'm not sure if you'd win on one. You'd have a straight-faced argument. You could certainly try that. But how much hassle is it worth? What does a shirt cost? A T-shirt? $12?
Depends on how many you buy, you can get it down to 8, 9 sometimes.
Yeah. The amount of hassle isn't worth $9. I don't think. Jim?
Yeah, we do the same thing, we'll usually give 2, and then if they want extra, because they don't want to do laundry that often,
Yeah.
they purchase more.
And you want to encourage them to wear it clean.
Mhm.
And we make them, you know, like, we give them, like, for khaki pants, we give them, okay, this is what the style we'd like you to wear, this is where you can go get it. But there's something you can wear outside of work.
And you don't have to pay for that. Khaki pants, black pants, blue jeans,
Yeah.
if it's clearly suitable for wear outside of work. Increasingly, we have seen in some of our businesses, people go to light colored shirt, khaki pants, and they provide an apron, but the apron stays at work.
Mhm.
The employer may even launder the aprons. Probably should launder the aprons.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, other questions, other issues? There will be a new edition of the Hospitality Legal Guide coming out. It's in final editing. It should be out shortly. It has 2 sections, and for those of you who sell live bait, the Department of Natural Resources is starting to enforce some licensing requirements around selling, particularly minnows and leeches. You do not have to have a bait dealer's license to sell night crawlers or worms, but if you sell, please watch that. And there's also a minnow harvester's license, that if you seine your own minnows, you're going to need a new license, and the details will be in the guide. All right, we're out. A blessed event. We've run out of material at the same time we've run out of time. So thank you very much.